Yeah. As I sit in disgust the way the world's moving, I sit in disgust, sick to my guts. The world's corrupt, times are tough, and life is rough. So much mistrust, everyone's judged. Where's the love? The world's unjust. The world is just following the lust, found in the nuffs. The world is just boys and drugs and girls and clubs, looking for love or looking for luck, living it up. Some people living just to be sinning, they're so persistent, they're not giving it up. These people just existing, they're not living enough. That's none of my business, I'm just sipping my cup. There's a law's my witness, I was living with that cynics, but I'm giving it up. So I fall back like I slipped in the tub, looking around like where is the love and who do we trust? The elders tried to advise us, but we didn't listen enough. So the youth are moving in circles, going nowhere fast like the wheels of a truck that's stuck in the mud. When did the world get so abrupt? See, God doesn't do any unjust us, so we find any evil, then it's just us. Cause we let this world infest us, cause we brought these conditions upon us. Look around us, no one is honest, no one is modest. All I see is darkness, everyone's so heartless. Society has become so godless. The new idols have become so viral. A revival is so vital to our spiritual survival. Because no one is mindful of that final trial mentioned in the Quran and the Bible. Knowing how frightful that day is, despite though we're still in denial that we even follow any idols, and some of us only Muslim by title. Left the Creator and started worshiping the objects. Today we worry about our pockets and our financial profits over following the prophets and everything that they taught us. In this process, our heart rust. We became heartless. Life became the hardest. We went from the light to the darkness, neglected the truth and fell for the falseness, followed the nonsense that came straight out of content. With no substance, no content, we became content with this misconcept of becoming the largest bosses and charges regardless of the costs, whether it costs us our morals, our dignity, and our conscience. And like this, we became exhausted trying to be fleek and flawless in the efforts to be exalted. But our biggest flaw is we overlook the condition at the hardest. We don't know who Allah is. We don't care what His law is. We turned our backs on the commandments. We became the generations of the lost kids. In return, everyone became so thoughtless. People became the hardest. Society became darkest. And like this, they brought us. And like this, they never taught us who Allah is. As if it was to say it was better to be godless than to be jobless. To slowly they lost us to this new concept of living modestly in the name of progress, chasing money tirelessly till finally we built our dynasty. Then later on, you can work on your deen and start to believe. But the irony, before that goal can be achieved, we already been deceived. We haven't really perceived the evil web that we weaved. We turned too far away and openly we disobeyed the owner of the night and day, during the night and day. And even though we knew it was wrong, society told us it was okay. We were supposed to be the ones teaching society how to behave. We were the slaves of God that were given the job to teach the people to cure the sickness in the heart and return them back to the start and teach them who Allah is. But we left that job and we fell in love with the objects. In return, we turned away from God's laws and followed the law of the people. But man's laws are flawed and leaves room for the evil. And you might not agree, but I see so much injustice around me to think oppositely. I think it's awfully how often these atrocities are happening, justified by so-called policies. It's probably because there's too much hypocrisy in democracy. How can the system view me properly when it used to view me as property? I mean, it's shocking me how they target me while I'm walking calmly on the market street till a cop is stopping me, locking me, and putting 3 shots at me because I disagree with him taunting me. Now you telling me he followed your policy? That's an anomaly. I mean, democracy has become a mockery. And honestly, it bothers me. Are you seeing the same thing that I didn't see? Honestly, it bothers me to watch my brothers bleed on the streets as he's crushing his neck and he's resisting arrest to his last breath. And you telling me he follows your law and policy? Now, obviously, man's law is flawed, and I choose to follow my beloved prophet's prophecy, who told me these are how the times would be. These are those days that says knowledge will be taken away, ignorance will prevail, male will live with male, and alcohol will be consumed on a wide scale. People will be intoxicated, the bad will be loved, and the good will be hated. Marriage will be so overrated, will no longer be sacred. So many will be separated. The plan the devil formulated and orchestrated. The youth will no longer have waited while they have dated. They already have fornicated, because women will be clothed and still appear to be naked. People will be frustrated. So much hatred. People will filled with rage, and this is the age where musical instruments everywhere, trustworthiness will disappear. Female singers will wear their hair like the hump of a camel, or stop instead. The signs are dead, but little do we care. Time will pass quickly. The innocent will be found guilty. Society will adore its most filthy. Practicing Islam will be weird, and people that do good will be feared. People will hate the oppressed and love the oppressor. Men will be dressed like women, and women dressed like the opposite gender. Marginless in the heart of the people. People will stop calling towards good and forbidding evil. Earthquakes increased. Good deeds decreased. So much disease that the living envy the deceased. The world is diseased. How can the world know peace when the owner is displeased? Everyone's looking for just a piece of peace as Muslim homes are seized overseas. Ignore pleas from the fleas of refugees. The killing sprees from the Middle East to the police. So much blood spilled that the one killed doesn't even know why they were killed. The heart is filled, whatever it takes to make the wallets filled. The balance tilt. The greed is drilled in the mind and instilled in the heart.
Living in filth so long, it has all become so normal. Distilled from the crime, no guilt, no morals. No one is remorseful. A vice resorts to more quarrels. Focus on being more cordial, on a life more formal. But I'm focused on being more floral, on planting good deeds that grow like leaves on trees, because I feel that's what the world needs. More good deeds, more beliefs. For all the problems of the world you see, you gotta know what the root cause is to solve it. The problem is we're living in defiance to the most highest. We let that divine guidance put our reliance on the alliance of these tyrants who promise us nothing more than the greed and the cream, and just to wake us up with their sirens. We have the truth and sit in silence, following the blindness, overlooking the kindness of the kindest of love. We're living with this mindset to grind and get it, even if you have the mindness of love from that time set. We just follow the blind steps of the West, so mindless that our behavior is in one direction, when you should be following God's directions, because we've been given the right steps so you can be under His guidance and His protection, but we put it behind us. So I'm here to remind us to free ourselves from the chain that they try to bind us and tempt us with their nice stuff and tell us to climb up this economic ladder of success till you blind us with your money, success, and diamonds. But tell me, who's really the blind one? I see humans but no humanity. Where can I find some? They say that end is near, but has that time come?